Hello, my name's Kevin Cahill, my wife Lisa. We're the creators of REALean, the real estate franchise brand. And we're new to this video type of stuff, so I hope you'll bear with us as we get better and better over time recording video. But we're really passionate and excited about the work that we're doing, creating a real estate franchise. And just to give you a little bit of background on who we are and the passions that we have and why we're going to all this trouble. I've been a real estate broker since 1999. I began my career in Cleveland, Ohio, where I was a brand new agent with a wonderful company there, a family-owned, locally owned real estate brokerage. And I got my chops and learned the business. You know, you start off unconsciously incompetent, and pretty quickly you realize what you don't know, and that's conscious incompetence. And you work really hard, and then you become unconsciously competent, where you don't really know all the things you know, but you know a lot more. And then you become consciously competent, which is you know all the things you know. You can teach them, you can help other people with them. And so as I grew through those layers in the real estate business over the last 18 years or so, I've enjoyed success in the real estate business as a real estate agent. I had a team. I owned 5 real estate offices with a bunch of other real estate agents in Cleveland, and we were growing a very fast real estate brand across the Cleveland area. And then I became a managing broker or a team leader with that fast-growing real estate brokerage. I moved to Florida, where Lisa was an accountant at that time. She spent over 20 years as an accountant before she joined me in the real estate business in 2012. And at that time, I was running a real estate brokerage in Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, and I was hired away by the largest real estate brokerage in the country to run their offices in St. Petersburg. Lisa got her real estate license, left the accounting business after 23 tax seasons, I believe, and joined me in residential real estate and actually commercial real estate. We do a good amount of that as well here in the area. And so I had all this success growing through the real estate business, seeing how very large real estate brokerages run their offices. I had success growing offices into higher levels of profitability, recruiting hundreds of real estate agents, which was a lot of fun and probably my favorite part of the business. And we decided that we saw a change happening in the real estate business where there was, and I was dealing with it with all my real estate agents. They'd come in and say they couldn't get a listing, or they're having a hard time, or their clients were beating them up over their commission. There is all this pressure on the commission structure, and it's just eventually and inevitably there's going to be some massive shift in the real estate brokerage industry where brokerages won't be charging the typical 6-7% fees, 6% plus whatever junk fees are added on. There'll be enormous pressure for those fees to come down. And imagine if Amazon or Google decided that they were going to facilitate real estate transactions. That 6% junk would be gone. It would just be over. And we recognized that there was an enormous opportunity to change the real estate industry from the inside rather than from the outside. And really, that's when we decided to launch our own thing, to create a brand new effort. And we really didn't realize how incredible it could be until, Lisa, you had really one of your first transactions. I believe it was your second.
It was my first listing.
First listing, second transaction in the industry.
It was.
Talk about that.
It was from when I was a CPA. I still have my license active so that I can help our clients make wise decisions. And somebody that I knew asked if I could list this commercial building, and I had it listed for a while, and I finally had someone that was interested in buying it, and they came to me directly, so I was the only agent involved.
Mm-hmm.
So
they were strategic about that too.
Yes, they asked if there would be any problem with me handling both sides. I said absolutely not, and
they knew that they were going to come in a little bit low.
Yeah.
And they knew that if there were 2 agents involved, 2 agents, 2 brokers, 4 different hands in that commission pie.
They were savvy. They had bought lots of other properties. So I was, there was offers going back and forth, and there was a gap that needed to be bridged. And so I did a lengthy calculation of, if the buyers came up a little bit more and the sellers came down a little bit more, they could make it work with me reducing my commission. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did, and we got it sold. I made plenty of money, I thought.
Sure. You made more money than you would have made if there were 2 agents involved.
Yeah,
at your full fee.
That's true. So I said to Kevin, I said, why don't we just do this all the time? Because I could see that if a seller doesn't have to factor in a 6%, 7% plus fees, if they don't have to factor that in when they're pricing their property, they can price it to make it sell more quickly.
Much more to the market.
Yeah, they can price it to the market. And, that's a problem with a lot of listings out there. They're overpriced and they just sit. And the reason they're overpriced is because this huge amount of commission is being factored in. And personally, coming from a CPA background, I think it's too much money. I just do. I don't feel right charging that much. And our whole business model is around charging our consumers less. And we like it, and we've done a tremendous amount of business. Yeah, we have referrals. People are thrilled about it. We've done it for several years now, and we've put agents on now to handle some of the overflow business.
Yeah, if I may, I'll mention a little bit about that. We would not have anybody join us for 2 years. We made an early commitment to ourselves that if this model didn't work, we weren't going to let anybody else fail with us. We were just going to fail quietly on our own. It works, and it works amazingly well. And the clients that we work with recognize the savings. We save sellers thousands of dollars. We're, of course, happy to offer credits to buyers as well in order to secure their business. And there are a lot of different ways that we can be very competitive in today's market and still do a ton of business. And part of our effort has been to be transparent and honest with our business model. We will always charge less, and we will always pass the savings on to our clients if we're the only agent involved. They know that up front. Our business model is really straightforward. We charge 4% when we work with a seller if we're the only agent involved. We lower our fee to 3%. And in that first 2-year period, actually if we go out another 6 months, we kept track, we still keep track, but we're keeping track of how much money were we saving our sellers. And in 30 months, we saved sellers over $550,000 had they paid 6% or more. Now, in order to save that much money for sellers and buyers, we had to do a ton of business. And you know what? You're going to work however many hours a week, 50 weeks a year. Let's say it's 40-hour work week, 50 weeks a year. That's 2,000 hours. You're going to work 2,000 hours. And so if you're going to work 2,000 hours, you want those hours to be fruitful and productive. The real estate industry, one of the things that I would teach, because I would train agents that I'd recruited and I was certified to train across the company that I was with, there is almost a normal default or expiration or withdrawn statistic. If you list your home for sale, what's the likelihood that it won't sell? Well, of course, there's seasonality to it or market cyclical elements. if it's a seller's market, it's much more likely to sell. If it's a buyer's market, maybe not so likely. But statistically, top-level agents who charge typically 6% or more will plan for 30% of their properties won't sell. They just plan for that. And why is that? Well, it's because a lot of them are overpriced or aren't going to accept less or need a certain amount in order to move forward. They don't care what the market's going to give them. They want what they want. Our business has been such that our expiration rate is around 4%. What that means is, unlike our competitors who are planning for 30% fallout, we actually have 25% more of our business actually does close.
Mm-hmm.
If they're planning on 30% fallout and we're planning on 4%, we've got 26% more of our business actually sells. So if you're going to do the same amount of work and not cross the finish line, why not lower your fee and get all those people across the finish line? So our business is highly efficient because we primarily focus on attracting sellers. Sellers are the more efficient side of the business. And just to give you a sense of it, and most real estate agents will immediately grasp this, and consumers will have an interesting time understanding this as well. If I'm working with a seller, often other real estate agents are out there showing the property. Often the MLS, Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, all these other platforms are out there advertising the property to consumers, and they're picking up on the listing. I don't have to go out there on a street corner like a newspaper boy and offer this property for sale to everybody who can hear me. The technology takes care of that. So then other real estate agents are out running around showing my listing and others, of course. Rarely does somebody want to see just one house. They typically want to see 2 or 3 at least, if not 17 or 72. And so working with sellers is more efficient. I can work with 10 or 15 active listings in any given week, dealing with the scheduling requests, the calls that we get from consumers, the calls that we get from other real estate agents. Those takes just moments of time here and there throughout the day, and you just deal with them and you keep moving. If I wanted to work with 2 or 3 now buyers, live active buyers who were committed to making a purchase decision this week, that would pretty much fill up my week. I'd be out scheduling properties, scheduling second showings of those properties that were really interesting to them. And then they'd be like, you know what, that one's overpriced. I'm not willing to pay that much. Let's see these 6 other houses. Pretty quickly, you're done with the week working with 2 or 3 buyers versus 10 or 15 or however many sellers. The buyers show up anyway. They're going to just show up. You got enough lawn signs, they show up.
And you know that if you've sold a person's property for them, they're going to buy something.
Often they're a buyer.
And they already know you and like you and trust you, and they're going to be out looking, and you're going to show them a few properties, and they're absolutely going to buy something.
Exactly. So going after the seller side of the business is the smarter, more efficient side of the business. And with our business model, we're saving people thousands of dollars. Real estate agents have joined us now, and we're thankful for that. And we're thankful that franchise development companies have identified our concept as being a winner concept. And they're very excited about it, and they energized us to be excited about it as well. We thought we were going to open up an office in Sarasota, open up another office in Orlando, an office in Tampa. We already have agents who service Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Sarasota, Bradenton, and we've actually also had a listing in Orlando just to prove that our concept works even in Orlando. We sold a home there in 4 days, saved the seller $7,500, made him $11,000 more than he thought he'd make, and our marketing was fantastic for him. He was very satisfied. We did that just to prove that it doesn't matter if you have local knowledge when it comes to the sales side. We can do all the research and acquire that local knowledge very quickly, because I don't need to know what sold 17 years ago. I don't need to know what happened 12 months ago. I just need to look and see, where will this home sell right now? And how do I save this customer as much money as possible? So instead of opening up those offices in these other parts of Florida, the franchise development companies have contacted us, and we realize that's a better approach. And it's an approach where we can have other agents, brokers, partnering with us, franchising, using our concept, all the tools, systems, models that we've been very successfully using for the past 3 years. And, obviously coming from my 18 years of experience as a broker, running all these other companies, I know what works and what doesn't, what agents do use and what agents don't use, what consumers do want, what consumers don't care about. And we have it just very streamlined. It's very lean, which is why our name is REALean. We're the real deal, and we're really lean, and our agents make more money, our brokers, our franchisees make more money. And it's just a volume game. It's a commodity business now. It's changing, and the real estate market will continue to change. And it's going to favor those who recognize what the consumers want and give it to them as quickly as possible. Any other thoughts that you want to share in this video?
No, I mean that about sums it up. We're excited to offer this to people, and we know that the consumers are going to save their equity, and that our franchisees and agents are going to keep more of their money. And it's going to be great all the way around.
It's been wonderful so far, and we hope you'll look into it a little bit further. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
taking time today.